What is up, everybody? Saturday night. Shit, my bad. We've got the games coming up tomorrow morning. I am here to answer any questions y'all got. Throw them out there in the chat. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Throw all questions out there in the chat, and let's talk about tomorrow. I mean, we've got some big games. A big week two. Week one was kind of disappointing, I guess, for the most part. Like it was kind of low scoring, like all in all. Dylan, what up, Dylan? Start Dylan or Kelly. Wow. That's a that's a hard one. I'm gonna say Kelly just because of the offense that he's in. So give me some Kelly over Dylan. They'll both be getting the majority of the work, but the tiebreaker for me is gonna be just the better offense in general. Because we got the Chargers. Yeah, the Chargers are playing the Titans. Decent defense, but Falcons pretty good defense as well. We'll see, how long Eckler's out. I mean, Kelly had what 16 carries last week. That was with a healthy Eckler. So, I mean, now an unhealthy Eckler who's not playing at all. I mean, Flowers over Evans. Um, the thing with the Bucks is that they are playing the Bears, whose defense is not that good to begin with. On top of that, their number one and their number two corners are out. Um, which is big. We saw Mike Evans get the touchdown last week. So I really like the matchup for the Bucks this week. But Flowers is going to be a good play pretty much each and every week. Don't forget Andrews was out last week. So with Andrews back, does that target share change a little bit? It seems like they do want to get him the ball a lot. So I do feel safe with Zay Flowers. But Mike Evans, I think maybe has some more upside to score like on a touchdown. So that's tough. If you want I guess I still would probably go Flowers, even though I really do like the matchup for Evans. Because I know Flowers is going to get the ball in his hand. So you want to play it safe, go with Flowers. Otherwise roll with Evans. Foot Legends, what up, brother? Tingley, what's good? What's good? What's up, y'all? We've got Mike. What up, Michael? Flowers or Hopkins? So Hopkins was a little bit banged up. He got targeted just a ton. Chargers defense is okay, I guess. Um, this is probably. Um, I might have to go with Hopkins. Let me see how banged up this is real quick. Because I mean, the amount of targets, it's hard to not go Hopkins, even though it's Zay Flowers. Yeah, I mean DeAndre's questionable, ankle, missed practice all week. So I mean, give me Flowers here. Hopkins is a little bit banged up. They're almost like the same. I mean, Hopkins had 13 targets, which was crazy, but 7 for 65. I mean, I feel like Flowers is a safer play, even though Hopkins will get peppered with targets. But with the injury, just give me Flowers and roll with it. Dylan said, "What's your opinion? Looks like the biggest fantasy bust so far." I know, overreaction. The biggest fantasy bust so far. I mean, it's gotta be Drake London so far, just after 1 week. Even though it is kind of an overreaction, but I guess you gotta say that that's like the one where I don't think anybody expected that. Like even T. Higgins, who didn't do anything, had 8 targets at least. I mean, London had 1 target. So I think that's probably the biggest bust so far, or the most upsetting. Yeah, Evans does have the easier defense. It just depends how much really you like Baker Mayfield or trust Baker Mayfield. So I don't think Mayfield's a bad QB. Let me rephrase that. He is pretty much a bad QB. He hasn't been able to hold a starting job somewhere with a few opportunities, but he's not as bad maybe as maybe we think he is. But it's hard to trust him. I mean, with Mike Evans, Mike Evans scored the touchdown last week. Is it Godwin's turn this week? I just feel like Zay is going to at least have the ball in his hands, like at least 5 times or so. They're gonna get the ball into his hands. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem, Michael. Amari injured, need a new flex. Puka or Dotson? Oh man, Puka's rough. It's tough to get with the defense they're going against. Coming off of the injury. Dotson against Denver. Denver is a good defense. Terry will see, the tougher coverage. How much do we believe in Sam Howell, right? I think with Puka playing, he's gonna at least get peppered with targets. So this is a tough one. You can go either way here. Um, they're both man, they're both like flexes, wide receiver threes. So Denver, maybe with that tough defense. I mean, 49ers are tough defense too. Fuck it. Give me Puka. If he's playing and Cup is out, like we might as well just take the chance on Puka. Let's take the chance on the targets with Puka. Should I still go Kelly or Nico? It's a tough one. Actually, before I actually got on, I was reading something uh, with air yards for last week. Nico Collins was third in air yards, which is kind of crazy when you think about it that way. But got a ton of targets. I think Stroud is still iffy. It looks like. Keep an eye on Stroud in the morning. I mean, but it's hard not to go with Kelly with no Eckler because he's going to get fed a ton. But Nico as well. I mean, I just talked about with the air yards. I mean, it's a good play. So if you want to go wide receiver, go Nico. If not, go Kelly. But that's a tough one. But I think I'll just play it safe with Kelly and say, give me the touches, the opportunities that he's going to get on a high powered offense. More likely to score a touchdown. Let me just go with Kelly. Oof, Elijah Moore or Judy. Man, I love both of these guys this week. It's Judy's first game back. We've got might not be an Amari Cooper, or he is injured, so he might be somewhat limited. I think I do like the Elijah Moore play here. Being that it's Judy's first game back, maybe let him come back one game before you want to start him. I think it might be safer to play Elijah Moore. Albert, what's up, Albert? Appreciate you for tuning in, man. As always. But who's going to be the guy for the Steelers? Speaking of that Browns game, right? Who's going to be the guy for the Steelers? Does Najee step up? And which wide receiver is it going to be? Right? Is it going to be Allen Robinson? Is it going to be Calvin Austin, or is it going to be someone else that comes in and steps up? And Chubb get in the end zone this time. Over 100 yards last game, 106, but no tutty to show for it. He was involved in the pass game, which was very good to see. I think he had 4 catches. He had 4 catches for 21 yards. So that's definitely something that you want to see for Nick Chubb. Even if Amari does play, do you think Moore is still a decent start? I do. I do still think Moore is a decent start. He was a decent start last week. Um, and he barely played towards the end as they were winning, and it was a bad weather game as well. So they're going to try and get Elijah Moore the football, it looks like, whether it's in the backfield or throwing him the football. So I feel like he's a pretty safe play regardless. Elijah Moore is one of my guys this year to kind of to break out, and you know what more better way to do it with Amari Cooper out, and you're the man. So yeah, I do really like Elijah Moore, even if Amari plays. But if Amari plays, do you then feel like Judy might be the play, right? Because he'll be the number one wide receiver. So that's still a tough one. But yeah, being that as Judy's first came back, maybe just give me Elijah Moore. Let me see what happens with Judy. Hopefully, he doesn't tweak anything. And let me see how involved he is going to be for that first game back. They said they're not holding him back or anything, but at the same time, you never know. I haven't found a definitive update on Deontay. What site do you use for injuries? Well, Sleeper is pretty much on top of everything. ESPN's always great to use as well. I have a few people I do follow on Instagram, and they are like actual like verified reps that can give out information. And whatever they say is pretty much considered true and coming from a true NFL source. So there's a few of them that I have on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. Just message me. I'll send you over some of them. I don't know exactly what it was offhand. One of them is my guy, Pro Football Craze, and the other one is like NFL Uncovered. I use those guys a lot because they come out with the information pretty instantly. Couple doctors that we follow on Instagram as well and Twitter. I mean, Deepak with Sports Media Analytics, and I think there's another one. I think his name is Raj. I'm not sure. I can't remember offhand, but I can try and look. But I have those guys on Instagram, and they're really good. Really, really good with the injury stuff. They tell you, the percentage that their production might be down, the percentage of re-injury risk. So, these guys are pretty good. But for the most part, Sleeper is pretty updated. They're pretty good. ESPN always comes out with all the inactives and everything about is it 11:30? I think they come out with that hour and a half before kickoff. So yeah, Deontay, they're saying that he's day to day, but he's not playing this week. He might not play for a few weeks. I thought it was going to be 4 weeks that I heard. So really just depends how quick he can come back. But the re-injury risk is going to be pretty high, at least, for the first game or two that he comes back. So that's always, something to just be careful of instead of throwing him right in your lineup. If you have a better play for that week, then maybe you go with that instead just to play it safe. Because how many times have we played guys coming off of hammies and they injure themselves like or re-aggravate it, one of the first plays, one of the first routes that they run out there. So we saw that with T. Higgins last year. But that happens with those hammies. Cooper Cup re-injured his hammy. Now Deontay's got to deal with it. Deontay is a little bit younger. He's not as old as a Cooper Cup, so hoping this doesn't like linger on as much. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. What other news came out? Rogers apparently there's a source that says he may be able to come back for January. I don't know if anybody else saw that. But apparently a doctor said that he may be able to come back January time, which would be nuts. But if somebody's gonna do it or is gonna try to do it, it would be Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Dylan, I feel you, man. I had Dobbins and Rodgers in a dynasty league. So that really hurt. Right off the bat, week 1, I've got 2 of my guys done for the season, and it's not redraft, so I lose all the value for these guys. That's it. They're pretty much done. Nobody's paying anything for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's paying anything for Dobbins. He's pretty much droppable. I mean, if you can get anything for Dobbins, just you take it. You could say the same for Rodgers, but it is interesting to hear that it's possible he might come back in January. We'll see how that goes. If the Jets even make it that far. If the Jets even make it that far. But yeah, I had Dobbins in a ton of leagues because he was such a value at where he was being drafted that I wound up snagging him up in just a ton of leagues. And really good to see how involved he was early on because he was involved in the passing game as well. And then, of course, the fantasy gods came and struck us, and they won't let us have nice things. And unfortunately, JK went down. And as soon as he went down, like my first instinct was like, "Oh shit! I hope that's not." There's no. My first instinct was like, "There's no way that it's another ACL or Achilles or anything like that." I'm like, "There's no way. That'd be just nuts." And then there it fucking was. So yeah, that was bad, man. As a Ravens fan, RB injuries over the years are killing me. Yeah, man, it sucks because JK was so good. I mean, over 5 yards a carry, was over 6 yards last year. I think it was right, like 6.2 or something like that. But yeah, it just sucks for him. Sucks for the Ravens. Just in general, they said they're fixing everything in house, so we still don't know who the guy is, Gus Edwards or Justice Hill. I mean, they're going to split the work, so it's not really might not even be worth rostering any of those guys. So that's the tough part with the Ravens backfield. And being that I had JK in a bunch of leagues, I mean, I've got Hill and Gus Edwards on the bench in a bunch of leagues, and it's hard to play them if you've got another decent option. It's hard to play any of these guys. But if you do have to play one, I mean, Hill was the guy that was getting the goal line work. Gus Edwards might get more touches, but is the more valuable touches the one that's down at the goal line? If you had to bet on one, I'd probably bet on Hill. I'd probably bet on Hill. Does DJ Moore bounce back this week? Right, DJ Moore. Justin Fields said that he's got to get DJ Moore involved more. He's got to get him the football. So I expect a big game from DJ Moore this week. I think he bounces back. I think he bounces back for sure. Dylan said, I think they'll have to pick up running back later in the year. There's no way no, Hill is not the answer. I mean, I don't think either of those guys are really the answer. But at the same time, do you need an answer, right? Because the real RB1 is probably what Lamar Jackson, right? So if you can have, a guy for the goal line, a guy to take the brunt of the carries, they can kind of split that backfield. You don't need to worry about paying one guy a ton of money because you're using, two guys. So you're kind of keeping the contract down. You don't have to pay these guys. If you want going forward, maybe you don't get a workhorse RB1, right? So I don't know. It just sucks for JK because that was a guy that I was very high on this year and heavily invested in redraft because of the value that you can, the value you got him at. But Kelsey should be back. Kelsey should be back. Chiefs should be able to get back on track. This offense will look a lot different with Kelsey back in there. And let's see who opens up what. Like, who does that open up holes for? Does that open up, like, is Kadarius Toney back? Right? Does Sky Moore get in the action? Is it Rashid Rice? Um, who's going to be the guy that's going to step up in the wide receiver room? Or is it just going to be the typical Mahomes and we're spreading it around and we've got, 8, 9 different receivers, tight ends, and running back that are catching the football? So let's see what happens with Kelsey. I mean, you can't start Tony or Sky Moore yet unless you're absolutely desperate and you have to, which I think I am in one of my leagues. But yeah. What up, Stay Trill? Start two, full PPR. We've got Kenny Walker, Zay Jones, Tyler Lockett, James Conner, Christian Watson, Puka Nakua. So, I mean, you've got some decent options. So let's just play it safe with the injury guys, right? Let's knock out Puka and let's knock out Watson, being that it's going to be there. Especially Watson will be his first game back if he does play. So let's just play it safe. Let's knock those guys out. Connor, I think, is a little bit banged up as well. He's not on a great offense. I like Tyler Lockett. They are playing the Lions. I mean, I know we've got JSN over there now. Zay Jones has got a good matchup against the Chiefs. And then you've got Kenny Walker, of course. Let me just see who. Seattle versus the Lions. So I think for me, it's between Kenny Walker, Zay Jones, and Tyler Lockett. I think it's between those three guys. And do we go with both of the Seahawks against the Lions? Or do we go with Zay Jones, who may not be the wide receiver two now on the Chiefs? I mean, on the Jaguars, right? Other than Calvin Ridley. Did he kind of overtake Christian Kirk? It's a great matchup to play any Jaguar almost. But I think Kenny Walker and Lockett are probably the safest plays. Zay Jones is a little bit spicy. He did have a good week one. They are going against the Chiefs here in week two, but I think give me Lockett and Walker against the Lions team. Could be a high scoring game, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Kenny Walker and Lockett. Zay Jones is close though. Let me know what you were thinking. Who are you thinking to play? Who do you have in there now? Yeah, let's roll with Seattle and what I'm hoping is a bounce back game for them. They didn't look great last week, but you got Jones and Walker. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could go either way, like I said. So both a little risky, but at the same time, both have pretty good matchups as well. I know. It's tough to rely on it. It's tough to rely on it. But I mean, listen, year in and year out, I mean, we kind of always underestimate Tyler Lockett, and he always finishes as a top 15 wide receiver. So it's tough to go against him until further notice. Like I said, I know JSN is there, but until he really kind of comes on board and starts to take over, like I think I still want to play Lockett until that changes. I mean, last week I think he came out of the game. He was evaluated for a concussion, so But yeah, give me those two guys. Give me those two guys. It's more than likely going to happen. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it does for fantasy purposes. Hopefully it does. Tingley, so with Amari injury, I checked. Elijah Moore is still sitting in waiver. Oh, see now, if he's still sitting in waivers, that just makes me think. What format are you in? Is it 10 team or is it 12 team? And do we like Moore's matchup better than Puka's? Mhm. I mean, Puka's going against the Niners, right? But there is no other pass catchers. If he plays, I'm sure that most likely he probably gets peppered with targets. But there's also a chance he doesn't. There's also a chance that week one was kind of a fluke and that never happens again. But I mean, Elijah Moore's going against the Steelers as possibly the number one wide receiver without Amari Cooper there. I do think they want to get him the ball. 10 team. Okay, that makes sense then. Why he would still be on waivers. Okay. Is there anybody else out there? Is there any other better matchups or guys out there? So I mean that's the situation is really what I'm looking at with Elijah Moore and Puka. So I feel like Elijah Moore probably has a better chance of scoring a touchdown than Puka does against the Niners. So it's a toss up. They're both wide receiver three flexes. It's just hard to see like if Puka plays, like how does he not see at least like 10 targets? But again, does Moore see targets as well? So give me Elijah Moore. Give me Elijah Moore. Puka is still a risk and he can absolutely get another 10, 15 targets, but give me Elijah Moore where Cooper really might not play. And even if he does, I still kind of like him. So, and we won't know if Amari plays until, probably that Monday or maybe we learn tomorrow night, but we're not gonna know. So you're gonna have to make a decision, and it is kind of a tough one. It is a tough one for sure. Um, all right. So what was the other game I was looking at? So Jets Cowboys, right? How much work do we see Brees Hall get this game with Zach Wilson? I would guess they probably want to keep the ball out of the Cowboys' hands. They probably want to run the ball a lot. They probably want to, you know, waste the clock and work the defense and the rushing game to try and just keep them in games. And Zach Wilson just has to be okay. I mean, he doesn't have to be great, but he's got to be okay. I mean, the Cowboys are a tough defense. We just saw them shut out the Giants, 40 nothing. Not that the Giants are anything special offensively other than Saquon, but Danny Dimes disappointed. What is he going to do this week, right? What does Danny Dimes do now? What did the Giants do against the Cardinals, who aren't very good, even though they did kind of put up a fight last week somehow, right? Mhm. Darren Waller, I mean, he said he's playing, but there is a huge injury risk with Darren Waller. Definitely tread lightly there with Waller. So is the Giants defense? A lot of people picked up the Giants defense this week, right? I mean, going against the Cardinals. Let's check out. Let me pull up the weather. Let's pull up the weather for tomorrow's game. I'm gonna put this in the chat as well. So this is what I use for the weather. It's great for kickers. It's great for, if you've got to choose between one guy or the other, maybe this sways you in maybe this sways you in the direction that you want to go, just knowing the weather, the weather of the game. So make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully y'all see this. And it just tells you, green, yellow, red, what is some weather to kind of look at. So it tells you here that the Vegas and Buffalo game, there is a light chance of rain, winds around 10 miles per hour, right? Maybe you might want to go with a different kicker, right? Winds about 10 miles per hour or so. And those are like just little things to kind of get a little bit of an advantage, right? Tampa says afternoon Florida pops up. Not much to say here. Chance of a spotty downpour, so no big deal there. Chance of a raindrop or two. Not much more than that. Like in Tampa, scattered storms for Jacksonville and Kansas City. Um, there's a shot for some storms, so we're thinking that could be a high scoring game. But is there some scattered thunderstorms? I mean, it's a yellow, it's not a red. We don't know what time they're going to happen, or if. But Miami and New England looks like impacts from Lee will be over by Sunday night. 10-mile-per-hour wind with no precipitation here. So no precipitation, but 10-mile-per-hour winds. Maybe you don't go with a kicker for Miami or New England this week. It's just little things like that. Kev, what up, Kev? Appreciate you, bro. And then you can see each particular game, just everything. They show you the weather here. So the Bucks and Bears, I mean, looks like it's gonna rain, right? Throughout this game. They said there's gonna be some shadowed storms. I don't know. I'm not too worried much, maybe the passing game a little bit, but more so the kickers, right? If you got any of these kickers, you might not want to play those guys this game. Right? Same thing with these Chiefs Jags. I mean, those were the only ones yeah, those were the only ones in here. But who do y'all got for let's see, which game? Chiefs Jags, right? Who do y'all got for the Chiefs Jags game, right? Kelsey's back. Is it automatically Chiefs or the Jaguars like actually put up a fight here? Do we have an actual good game possibly? A high scoring game where Jags and Chiefs are just going back and forth. I mean, does Ridley have a field day on his Chiefs defense? And then again, who steps up for the Chiefs other than Kelce? So Dylan said Chiefs. Yeah, I think I'm rolling with you there for sure. It's hard to ever bet against the Chiefs like ever, but I do like the matchup. They aren't starting 0-2. Yeah, it's tough that for them to. I can't imagine them starting 0-2. But I mean, look, the first week. I mean, I know it was tough for them that week one, so they still got a chance to, even if they do start 0-2. I mean, I wouldn't be that worried. Caddy, what up, Caddy? Still waiting for the Deontay IR. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. They said day to day, but I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe that. Let me see if there was anything. There was anything new. No, I mean he's officially ruled out for week 2, so we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Let me see if there's anything else I could find on him. Let's see. Nothing. Nothing new as of yet. A couple days ago, let's see, Deepak, the doc on Instagram said up to 4 weeks out, more commonly would take 3. IR decision pending. Data suggests week 5 return most likely, but with elevated re-injury risk. So, I would say to count on him being out for at least the next few weeks. He's going to be out for at least the next few weeks. But Deontay was doubtful as of now. No, I mean on sleeper they've got him ruled out already. I've got him on one of my squads, but yeah, it looks like he's officially been ruled out for week 2. In practice this week, of course. Looks like it's Calvin Austin, Allen Robinson, and George Pickens. Update on Puka. Puka's playing. So the update on Puka is that Puka is playing. They didn't say he's going to be limited or anything like that. But Puka's always been a guy that's been a little injury prone. He's always been injured. They're going against a great defense. So it's not a great matchup, but there is nobody else there. So depends how risky really you want to get if you want to play Puka. I mean, it's just a risk this week with the injury number 1 and then the matchup number 2. So it's tough. I mean, he could go out there and prove us all wrong and have another 15 targets, but if you've got some other decent options, then maybe you play those guys. Kev said Stafford might be throwing to me, Stevie, and Caddy tomorrow. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll get out there. Shit. Or shit, I may be throwing for the damn Falcons tomorrow. Get fucking Ritter's ass up out of there and start throwing to London and Pitts, man. Shit. Injury and matchup. I mean, San Fran is one of the most physical defenses, so there's that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a great matchup with the defense. I mean, if there's a way to beat the defense, it would be like the secondary. If there was a weak point of the defense, it would be the secondary. But I mean, Puka's not some world beater. You know, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, with the injury as well, it's a little bit risky for me. I mean, it's not like we've seen, 2, 3 weeks of Puka averaging 10, 15 targets. I mean, it's been 1 week so far. So, he does it again this week. I mean, then he's a must play until Cooper Cup comes back. And even when Cooper Cup does come back, he might still be a decent play. So this game's going to tell a lot on what we should think. What we should think about Puka going forward until Cup gets back. So, these next few games will be big. I mean, Tutu Atwell, He had a great game last game, but smaller guy, more of like a deep targetish kind of guy. And Van Jefferson just was like nowhere to be found. So, Jivan, what's up, man? Kendrick Bourne or JSN PPR? If Devontae Parker is not playing, which let me see if he was ruled out yet. Oh yeah, Devontae Parker is questionable. And the tough part is that they play Sunday night. So if Devontae Parker's out, then I think I like Kendrick Bourne. If not, give me JSN. Not give me JSN. And Seattle's going to play before that. So I mean, they are going up against Miami. That defense is not very good. So you want to take the chance with Kendrick Bourne here. He's got the matchup that you'd want to do it in. I don't know if I necessarily trust Devontae Parker to play or not. So give me Kendrick Bourne this week. Give me Kendrick Bourne, even though I really like JSN. But they do got a few guys over there. And if Bourne is going to be the only pass catcher out here again against a Miami defense, they're going to put up points, and New England's going to have to throw the ball, I think. So, Bogey, what up, Bogey? What up, brother? What's goody? But yeah, I can't believe I'm actually saying Kendrick Bourne there. But yeah, if Devontae Parker is going to be out, and we'll keep a lookout in the morning. We'll see if we hear any other news on Parker. But Kendrick Bourne, the 2 touchdowns last week, to get 2 touchdowns again, I mean, probably not. That's a stretch. But I mean, 11 targets, and they're going to have to throw the ball. So we want targets, we want opportunities. Just posted up, enjoying the show. Appreciate you, Bogey. Yeah, Hammer. I think Hammer's out again tonight. He said he was going to try and get on about 10:30, but not in the cards. Doesn't look like anyway. Hmm. But yeah, I mean, Colts Texans, right? Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs, who looked good, Pittman, CJ Stroud. Hopefully he plays, and Nico Collins. I mean, like I mentioned before, third last week in air yards, which you would have never thought. But yeah, Nico Collins, I mean, getting some work. Nico Collins was a guy I did like all offseason, especially after the season, because you could have got Nico Collins for so cheap. He was on my stash list right after the season to hold on to. They did wind up bringing in a couple guys through the draft, but Nico just seems like the big X guy. I mean, 6 out of 11 targets for 80 yards, man. So I do like Nico. Do you think I could start Brees Hall in 8-man by next week? In an 8-man league? I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think he'll get ramped up as the season goes on. I see him more towards the end of the season, where he'll really get ramped up. So it's tough. 8-man. I mean, what are your other options other than Brees to play? Because he is gonna get, he's gonna split carries. He's not gonna get all the work. We about to go live on the 420. Join in 15 minutes. If you're done with the show, free to join us. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I might. I might. Let me see. What time I get up out of here. Depends how long we go. We go with this. How many questions we got and everything. Vite Queen, what up? Thanks for the show. Enjoying the info. Appreciate you, Vite Queen, as always. Appreciate everybody tuning in, guys. Smash that like for me. Smash that subscribe if you're new. Any questions y'all got, throw them out there in the chat. Redraft, Dynasty, player opinions, or whatever you got. Hoping Richardson can average 200 passing yards a game. Yeah, I mean, uh, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, they're on a bad enough team where they may have to throw the ball a lot. So I can definitely see that happening. I mean, he's got a very good floor. I mean, we saw what he did. We saw what he did last week, right? I mean, 223 passing yards, 24 uh, for 37 against a pretty decent Jacksonville defense. Then he had 10 rushing attempts for 40 yards and the touchdown. So, yeah, if he can throw for around 200 yards, 40, 50 rushing yards a game, sprinkling some touchdowns here or there, I mean, I think he'll be absolutely fine. So, but he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have some really bad games, but that's gonna happen. That's normal. Blurpy, what up, Blurpy? Start four from these players, full PPR. Garrett Wilson, Debo, AJ Dillon, James Conner, Joshua Kelly, Rashard White. All right. Let's eliminate White from this conversation. Let's eliminate James Conner, who I think is playing. I know he was a little bit banged up. Yeah, it says he's good to go. Says he's good to go against the Giants. The problem is that offense is just horrible, and you can't really expect him to score a touchdown or give you like a ton of upside. So give me for sure Joshua Kelly, who was on obviously a great team, a high-powered offense, no Austin Eckler. So give me Josh Kelly. Give me AJ Dillon, who another one. Aaron Jones is probably not playing. He's banged up. And give me Garrett Wilson, still the number one option. I mean, it sucks. He's got Zach Wilson. Oh, man, they're going against the Cowboys too. That's the rough part. And Debo. So all right, so we're going with Dylan, Kelly, and Debo for sure. The fourth guy is going to be a toss up between Garrett Wilson and James Conner, and it's going to be tough. You decide between Wilson and Conner. Give me Garrett Wilson still. I mean, he's still a stud. Fuck it. If they're down, they're going to be passing. Give me Wilson still. Emil, what's up, Emil? Trying to trade away Garrett Wilson. What do you think I can get for him? Redraft or Dynasty? I kind of see him as more of a back end wide receiver two-ish right now. So if you can get any kind of mid wide receiver two, or anybody that you're kind of more comfortable with, like I don't think you can go as high as like a Waddle. Waddle, Ridley. I mean, maybe Ayuk you feel better with, if that's even a possibility. Like, I don't even know if you can get that right now. Um, he is coming off the touchdowns. That kind of felt, like that saved him a little bit. But who else? Yeah, any kind of like mid wide receiver two, high end wide receiver two. But it's going to be tough to get those guys. It's going to be tough. I still do like Wilson. Like, it's just hard to sell them for the cheap, you know what I mean? So unless you can get something like that's directly equivalent, I mean, I don't know, DK Metcalf, Keenan Allen, maybe. You can try Jalen Waddle, who didn't have a great game. Maybe people are upset about that. Those are a couple guys I'd be looking at there. Kev, inbox trade, start 11, 10 teams, super flex. Give my Anthony Richardson for T. Higgins and Jordan Love. My other QBs are Fields, Howell, and Zach Wilson. Oof. Do we really trust Jordan Love yet? I know it's been one game, and we could say the same thing about Anthony Richardson, but I feel like his value is just so much higher. 10 team, 10 team. No. You know what? In the 10 team, give me Anthony Richardson. I need the upside there. Because if you got Fields and Richardson, yeah, being that it's 10 team, we need the hammers, we need the advantage. I think I want to keep Anthony Richardson here. I think I want to keep Anthony Richardson. He's got that upside. Is it 4-point or 6-point passing touchdown? It's not a bad like tear down at all. I just think I want Anthony Richardson for that extra advantage at QB. So it is a 6-point passing touchdown. Makes it a little bit more interesting because it is 10 teams. So uh, I think I'm gonna keep Anthony Richardson. Let me keep Richardson here. If I'm coming off of Richardson, I think even though I do like T. Higgins, I think I just want more of a hammer than T. Higgins. I know you're getting Jordan Love back the same too, but Blurpy, I still like Garrett Wilson. It's only because I hate the matchup for him. I know. But compared to those other guys, I mean, James Conner doesn't have much upside. I mean, he'll probably give you a good floor because he's going to get, 12, 15 carries, maybe more depending if they're in the game or not. And he's going to get receptions as well. So Emil said it was redraft. Okay, that was the Garrett Wilson question. Yeah, so those are some of the guys I'd be looking at, as I mentioned before. No one else believes in Garrett no more. I still have faith. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a great wide receiver. We've seen wide receivers before still be able to produce with shitty quarterbacks. Not saying that Garrett Wilson is DeAndre Hopkins, but at the same time, I think he's got a pretty decent floor. The problem is you can't rely on him as like your number one anymore. Like a lot of people went into the season with Garrett Wilson as like their number one option, and that can't happen right now. He's got to be either your number two or number three option. I guess it's pretty impossible for him to be your number three option. At least your number two option. It's hard to just rely on him to be your actual wide receiver one. But he can still do it. Let's see if Zach Wilson fucking does his thing. I mean, serious question. A lot of my East Coast friends prefer cheese pizza. The East Coast, that this is a true pie. Yeah, it's either plain cheese or pepperoni. You go with either one. You go with either one, cheese or pepperoni. Pepperoni is pretty universal, but even a cheese one from East Coast is good. Simp, what up, Simp? Commanders, Giants, Broncos, Colts, or Steelers defense this week. Let's pull it up. Commanders against the Broncos. I mean, Giants against the Cardinals seems like the one that makes the most sense, right? So, whether you believe in the Giants defense or not, I guess that's another story. But let me see the Broncos. Yeah, Broncos are playing the Commanders, so I don't think those teams are going to score a shit ton of points. So I think like those are pretty safe defenses, the Commanders and the Broncos. Steelers, I mean, against the Browns, they're probably going to be decent as well. But Colts, I mean, Colts against the Texans seem like a really good one. So it's either going to be the Giants or the Colts, I think, for me. The Giants or the Colts. Give me the Giants though. I mean, I doubt Dobbs is going out there and throwing for 300 yards or anything crazy like that. Patty said Zach looked way different Monday than he did the whole season. He connected with this man Garrett for a touchdown the first week. No. Garrett pretty much saved Zach Wilson's ass because that was a horrible throw into the end zone. So, but it was encouraging to see he did get the touchdown. I mean, awesome catch. But that's the thing is like just put it in the vicinity of this guy. Let your guys make plays. So he's had the knowledge passed from A-Rod. Yeah, I mean, whatever little knowledge he was able to learn from they weren't together for that long, which kind of sucks as well. So, Vite Queen said pineapple and pepperoni is good. Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that over here. I don't do the whole pineapple thing on the pizza, but yeah, pepperoni for sure. Oh, here we go. Bogey said I got an argument with one of my boys that pineapple on pizza he think is preposterous. He pretty much thinks everything outside of sausage and pepperoni don't belong. I mean, I'm okay with putting pineapple on the pizza. Like that's fine. I just don't particularly like it or want it, but I don't think it's straight preposterous, I would say. I guess you can say it is preposterous if you got to choose between fucking pineapple or pepperoni as your topping. I guess you can maybe it is preposterous. Ethan, what's up, Ethan? 10 team full PPR. Lamar, McCaffrey, Stevenson, Wilson, Keenan, Pitts. Tua Hill. Zach Moss on IR. W Dis. What is that? Slash trades. Um, Let me know what the WDIS means. Maybe I'm dumb, but I can't. I don't know what that means. But okay, trades. What trades can you make here? Let's see. We got Lamar, McCaffrey, Stevenson, Wilson, Keenan, Pitts, McLaurin, Niners, Marquise Brown. You got Tua. I mean, listen, you got Tua and Lamar. Can you trade one of those guys? Maybe. I mean, there's some. It's going to be hard to trade Lamar. So, do you trust Lamar enough to maybe try and trade Tua? Does somebody want Tua after that huge Week 1 performance? Can you? It is a one QB league, so the QBs are a little bit devalued. They're not worth as much, but does somebody really like Tua and would want to buy Tua from you? Can you combine Tua with a Zach? What is Zach? Tua with Garrett Wilson and try and tier up there. You got Marquise Brown, you got Elijah Moore as well. So can you combine some kind of Elijah Moore, Marquise Brown, Wilson, Pitts? Two of those guys. Can you combine them to try and tier up at wide receiver? Um, I'd be kind of looking at something like that. McLaurin as well. You can use him also. So Wilson, Keenan, McLaurin, Marquise Brown, Elijah Moore. Who needs some help at wide receiver in your league? Maybe they've got some injuries. And they would want to split somebody. I mean, T. Higgins didn't perform how people liked, right? Can you get a T. Higgins on this team? Um, Jalen Waddle didn't perform how people liked. Can you get a Jalen Waddle on this team by some kind of combination here? So reach out to those owners. Those are two guys that I'd probably be targeting the most because they didn't do great. And those owners, might be willing to give up. Might be willing to give up one of those guys. Might. Pineapple and pepperoni. Yeah, that's right. Pineapple pepperoni is your joint. Pineapple pepperoni bacon is your joint. Shit. Okay. Pineapple pepperoni and then pineapple pepperoni bacon. All right. I don't like pineapple on my pizza. I like my pizza spicy. Okay, Caddy, spicy. So what are we putting on there? Jalapenos and crushed peppers, but not sweet. Hammer said he'll be on in 5 minutes, so we'll get Hammer up in here in a minute. Oh, a few minutes actually, as he's restarting. Who do I start? Who do I start? Okay, my bad. I'm getting old, man. I'm like, what the? All right, so I guess you got Terry in there now, Keenan, Wilson. I mean, you've got the right guys in there. McLaurin, Keenan, Wilson. I mean, Elijah Moore is interesting. I do like him this week. Lamar, if you believe in Lamar, to have a comeback week this week. Otherwise, do you play Tua and play it safe? Wait till Lamar does his thing. They've got the Bengals this week. And Tua's got the Patriots. So yeah, Lamar and Tua is even a conversation there. I don't know if you can play Elijah Moore over Garrett Wilson. Terry is man. Terry's got just a bad week this week with going against the Broncos. Maybe you play Elijah Moore over Terry McLaurin. It's 10 teams, so we need some upside. Being that they're going against a good defense, and I don't know how Sam Howell's going to fare out. Maybe we go Elijah Moore here instead of Terry, or maybe you go Terry over Garrett Wilson. If they're down, they're going to have to pass. So I still feel comfortable playing Garrett Wilson. Give me Garrett Wilson still. So maybe I swap out McLaurin and Elijah Moore. And that might seem a little bit spicy, but I really don't like the matchup against Denver. And then Lamar and Tua are really the only other conversation. So you got a little decision to make. Let me know what you think. I don't know for Higgins for Tua. Is that worth taking a look at? Yeah, it's definitely worth taking a look at. I mean, you can use some help at wide receiver with Wilson might not being the heavy hitter that he was before. And Tua is your backup. I mean, I'm sure there's a guy or there's somebody on his 10 team. So I'm sure there's somebody on waivers that's decent enough if Lamar gets hurt that you can plug in. So if you have faith in Lamar, then absolutely give up Tua for Higgins. Because you're not going to be able to get this trade after this week. Because if once Higgins goes off, which he might this week, I mean, who knows? But coming off a 0-point game, I mean, people are kind of throwing Higgins just out there. Like, give me Higgins. I mean, Tua is your backup. You're not going to play him if you have Lamar. You're going to play Lamar every week, unless you believe in Tua more. But in this case, I'm sure nobody wants Lamar at this moment. They'd rather Tua. So yeah, give up Tua and give me the wide receiver. You can pick up another backup quarterback. So yeah, we're taking Higgins here. Or maybe you like Tua, see if he'll take Lamar Jackson instead. So you can pick either one. Mm, Let's see. I think we hit I think we hit all the injuries for now. And we'll be on tomorrow morning as well, guys. 11:30 to just about kickoff, 12:30, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be on tomorrow, answering more questions in the morning. Seeing the final injury reports come out and the actives and all that. So we'll be on tomorrow to do that. Man, Justin Jefferson. I think I saw something today like he was on target for like 2,600 receiving yards. I saw one for Cheetah as well, which was nuts. But imagine we have two guys this year, Cheetah and JJ, both legit pressing for 2,000 yards. I mean, talk about 2,000 yards over a 17 game season. That's 117 yards a game. 117, which that don't seem like a lot at all. JJ had what 159 last week. I mean, 150 the week before. So the only problem with JJ is he's not scoring touchdowns right now. Like he's giving you the yardage, he's giving you the catches, he's getting the targets, obviously, but the touchdowns aren't there. He should have had that touchdown. Should have had that touchdown Thursday night, but wound up obviously dropping the ball, losing it in the end zone. So that sucked. But 11 for 13 for 159. JJ just kind of cementing himself as the best wide receiver in the league. Now, what happens next year is going to be very interesting. What do we do with Kirk Cousins? Who's going to be the quarterback for this team? And what are we doing? Are we bringing back Kirko? Are we going out and getting somebody else? Like we have a good young nucleus of weapons on offense. JJ, Addison, Hawkinson. I mean, even Osborne is pretty good. So we've got a good core of guys. And I don't think we need to straight go into rebuild like with not a capable quarterback. So I think we have to have at least a decent quarterback. JJ on pace for 180. Yeah, that is absolutely wild. 180. I mean, oh man. Besides the fumble, JJ 25 targets, no drops. Yeah, he's holding on to everything. He's holding on to everything, which is what we need. But we just got to stop turning the ball over. We got to stop turning the ball over. That could have been a very different game. I mean, the whole game swung, when we were turning the ball over like crazy. Falcons Packers, man, that's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a very interesting game. Green Bay defense is not that bad. Falcons defense was pretty good as well. So what's going to happen? What is Dylan going to do? Is Christian Watson playing? I mean, does Jordan Love continue to produce or raise his stock? Right? Does he have another great game? Or does he come back down to earth? Do we see a bad game from Jordan Love? And then we're kind of questioning, like, if week one was a fluke or not, right? Because a lot can happen. So a lot can happen. Who's available for the Vikes? Could they get Kyler? I don't know. It's tough to know what the Cardinals are doing, especially now that they're saying, Kyler might actually play this year. So I don't know. Kyler could be a possibility. We kind of thought Trey Lance might be a possibility as well. Now, not so much with him going to the Cowboys, but I mean, who else could possibly be out there other than one of these backup guys like Heineke and Brissett and any of those guys? What if a Jimmy G became available, even though I don't love that? What if a Geno Smith becomes available? You never know. A Jared Goff, even though I think they do re-sign him. Those are probably not realistic possibilities, but a Tannenhill, Stafford, right? If the Rams aren't good this year, I mean, does Stafford possibly go somewhere else? And I think that's probably it. I mean, Jameis Winston is still out there. I mean, nobody believes in him anymore, but that guy can sling it. Like, there's not a ton of options out there. Like, that's the thing. Like, if it's not Kirk, like, who else is it? Because it's automatically a downgrade. And are we going to be a bad enough team where we're going to have a top pick and get one of these top quarterbacks? I don't know if we're going to be that bad. I don't know if we're going to be bad enough to be able to get a top pick, unless we move up in the draft somehow or give up something to move up in the draft, right? I mean, is that a possibility? We're going to have to give up a ton. We have to give up something in order to get a top pick. So I don't know. That's going to be tough too, man. I like Kirk better than Stafford too. I mean, I'd rather keep. I mean, Stafford is awesome, but Kirk has been fine. Like I don't think Kirk is necessarily the issue, but we do have to start scoring more touchdowns. That's an absolute fact. So we definitely need to score more touchdowns. But like, there's nobody. That's why I was always okay with Kirk. Like people are like, oh, how do you like Kirk? And like, I mean, because what else is out there? What else is better? Or what else is going to make us a better team out there? There's no quarterback out there that is going to be better, than Kirk Cousins. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see after the season what goes on there in Minnesota at the quarterback position. So, like I said, we got to bring in. They've got to bring in somebody competent with the weapons that they have. But then again, you can say the same thing about the Falcons with Pitts in London, and they just don't care. They're rolling out Ritter right now. And that could change. That could change before the season ends. That could change before the season ends. King Ahmed, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Should I trade Chase and Goddard for Waller and AJ Brown? No, no. And Mixon, you get Mixon too. I don't trust Waller. Ace, I mean AJ Brown could be a decent buy low right now, but Mixon is okay. I'm not in love with Mixon. Do you need a running back? Is that your issue here? Do you absolutely need a running back? Are you down bad where you need a running back? If you do need a running back, I mean, it's not a horrible trade. I'd rather way much have Chase. The way much have Chase and Waller. I mean, Chase and Goddard than Waller and AJ Brown. Like, but is the difference between them mixing? It's the difference between them mixing. No, I think I still want Chase and Goddard. I'll buy a cheaper running back. See if you can buy a cheaper running back with something else. I'm keeping Chase here. I think I'm going to keep Chase here. But if you're absolutely desperate for a running back, it's not a horrible trade. It's not a bad trade at all. What's the biggest fantasy blowout you've seen? I mean, I don't know. There's nothing really that comes to mind. I don't think I've been a part of anything that's been that bad, but I think I saw somebody put up like 30, 40 points one week. I mean, and then get blown out by like 100. But that's not too bad. IDub Vikings probably end up with the top 12 pick, could get to top 3 pick with the package. Possibly. Possibly. I just don't know if we even get a top 12 pick. I mean, we'll see. We shall see. Maybe that is the route that we go. Maybe that is the best idea. IDub said for King Ahmed that the deal feels fair for reject. It definitely feels fair for sure. I still will just prefer the Chase side and then try and get a running back using something else without having to give up Chase. But appreciate you one for tuning in, King of Med. Smash that like for me. Smash that subscribe if you're new. You got Pittman at the flex right now. He said. Pittman at the flex, Pacheco at bench. My starting running backs are Pollard and Ramondre. Yeah, I mean, listen, you've got Pollard and Ramondre. I don't want to give up Chase just to get Mixon because you're taking a downgrade at tight end pretty much. I don't trust Waller at all. He just can't stay healthy. The hamstring is messed up. So I'm not trying to mess with Waller. Waller right now. So being that you do have Pollard and Ramondre, you got Pacheco on the bench. I mean, you don't have to make a move here to go get a running back. Just play Pollard and Ramondre in your RB spots and keep Chase. You don't want to give up Chase just for Mixon, who is going to be like your RB3 basically. So no, let me keep Chase in that instance for me. King Ahmed, with the more context with your team. I like Chase even more side now. Carlin, what's up? Should I trade Amari Cooper? Oh, should I take Amari Cooper out? My bad. For AJ Dillon or Mike Williams, or just hope he plays? No, I'm going to take Amari Cooper out. There's no reason to take that risk when you've got another option like Mike Williams, or even AJ Dillon. I mean, with Aaron Jones probably out, Mike Will, who I think pretty much has a good matchup, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. They're going against the Titans. It is a pretty good matchup. So, yeah, I'm definitely going either A.J. Dillon or Mike Williams there. Mike Williams has a ton of upside. Falcons defense is pretty decent. You could go either or. It's a toss-up between Dillon or Mike Williams. But give me the wide receiver. Give me Mike Williams, who can possibly catch a bomb out there. Give me Mike Will, Carlin. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate the questions, guys. Appreciate everybody out there in the chat. Just do me a quick favor. Smash that like if you haven't already. Smash that subscribe if you're new. Throw any questions y'all got in the chat, and I will get to them. Redraft, Dynasty, opinions, player props, whatever it is, just throw it out there, and I will get back to y'all as quick as I can. My name is Jeff. What up? My name is Jeff. Sam Laporta or Pat Fryermuth? Um, let's see. That is actually a really good one. I think you can obviously go either or. I don't think there's going to be a crazy difference there. I know Fryermuth was a little bit banged up. Let me see if. All right, so he was upgraded to full participant on Friday. So it looks like he is all set. Looks like he's all set and ready to go. And with no Deontay Johnson, do they focus on him a little bit more? Meanwhile, Sam Laporta had 5 for 39, didn't have a touchdown though. Going into Seattle, when with what could be a shootout, but give me Fryermuth, who just gets targeted heavily in that red zone down by the goal line with a Deontay out. I think I like Fryermuth here. Jeff. Appreciate you. Yeah, I traded Garrett Wilson and Dubes for T. Higgins and Deontay, and I'm regretting it right now because I have Chase paired up with him, which is why I'm considering that trade since I have two Bengals wide receivers. That's okay, man. Listen, Joe Burrow's going to throw for over 4,500 yards and upwards of like 40 touchdowns. So there's plenty to go around in that offense. It sucks having them both, but I don't want to get rid of hold on, let me go back to the question. I don't want to get rid of of Chase just because of that reason and then downgrade to, Waller, AJ Brown, and then get a Mixon in there. So that wouldn't be the trade to make. And you might have to wait another week, right? Wait another week. Wait till Higgins has a good week. And if you want to move off of Higgins for somebody in the same tier as Higgins, then I'd be okay with that, which is kind of any mid wide receiver two, high end wide receiver two. So wait till Higgins has a good week and then maybe try and move him if you're uncomfortable with having both of those guys. But there definitely is plenty to go around. So even if you did keep both of those guys, I don't think it's going to be as bad as you might think. But that would be my best advice: is wait till Higgins has a good week and then move him for somebody exactly the same. Laporta, Kincaid, or Ertz. It's going to be between Laporta and Kincaid for me. Ertz had a ton of targets, but if he's not scoring touchdowns and that offense sucks, they don't really mean much. Kincaid had 4 targets, so he's not as involved yet. I guess you can say the same with Laporta. Maybe Kincaid gets some more work this week. Uh, who the Bills got? Bills got Las Vegas. Bills got Las Vegas, and Laporta's got Seattle. Give me Laporta. Give me Laporta here. I like Laporta. Out of those three, give me Laporta. We'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. Make sure you guys come by tomorrow if you're free. Even if you don't even if you don't got any questions, guys, just come through, say what up if anything. Throw me a like, help me out there. Help out the algorithms for YouTube. Hammer said his computer's crashing right now, so I guess he's not hopping on. Guess he's not hopping on. I don't know how much longer I'll be on anyway, but we'll keep hanging out for a little bit. Man, Amari Cooper, he's sucks that he's injured over there for sure. Caddy, there's no reason to have three tight ends. I don't know if you've got all three of those guys on your team, but there's no reason to do that. Just forget Ertz. I mean, he's just on a bad offense. You want upside, give me somebody that can possibly score a touchdown on better offenses. So if you want to keep both Kincaid and Laporta, that's fine, but just get rid of Ertz, save the roster spot. You know, only got Kincaid. Okay. Other two are on waivers. I got you. I got you. I, either Kincaid or Laporta. You can roll with either of those guys for the rest of the season and just play them every single week. Don't try and get cute and pick, better matchups and stuff here and there. Just play the same guy every single week. They're gonna pretty much end up the same towards the end of the season. So, but for this particular week, I do like Laporta better. So. Aaron Rodgers coming back January. Jeez, that would be some shit if Aaron Rodgers actually does come back for if the Jets make the playoffs and he comes back for the playoffs. That would be nuts. Cade, what's up, Cade? Appreciate you for tuning in. Flex spot. Kelly Robinson, Zay Jones, Mostert. Kelly will get a workload. Yeah, absolutely. It's either between Kelly and Zay Jones. In this particular instance. Jones has a good matchup, but there are a ton of guys to feed on that Jaguars team. So yeah, give me Josh Kelly. You got the right idea, Cade. Absolutely appreciate you for tuning in. Smash that like for me. Smash that subscribe, guys, if you're new. Hopefully you're digging the content here. Throw any questions y'all got in the chat, and I will get to y'all as quick as I can. I know I asked this yesterday, but just to make sure, one in the flex. Evans, Jamal, Sanders, Mostert, and Puka. I think I said Evans, right? Did I say Evans here, or did I say Puka? You go between either of those guys. I don't like the Sanders or Mostert necessarily. Sanders is going against the Saints. I don't like that. Mostert against the Patriots is not bad, but I know he's a little banged up. Evans is, it's a good matchup over there. It's a good matchup. Don't forget, both of those corners are out. Both of the top corners for the Bears are out. So, I mean, Evans is a good play. I didn't know both of those guys were going to be out as well yesterday. I just found that out today. So, I also have Cam Akers. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be efficient on the ground. No, we're not. You're not playing Cam Akers, especially this week. I mean, they're playing the 49ers this week. You're not playing Cam Akers this week regardless. So, yeah, he's not efficient. We don't know what's happening over there. He was a big avoid for me, but Kyron Williams obviously is eating in there. But I mean, 22 carries for what was it, 29 yards, I think it was for Cam Akers. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it at all. For sure. Mm-mm-mm-mm. No problem, Cade. Appreciate you for tuning in. We were live usually most nights. We'll be live tomorrow morning as well. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, just up until game time. So about an hour and a half before kickoff, up until game time, we'll be on tomorrow. So come through and hang out if you're free. Caddy says start three: Gibbs, Stevenson, Connor, Kelly. Gibbs, Stevenson, Kelly. Boom, easy, easy. Knock out Connor from that. And we'll see if Gibbs's workload changes already just in week two. We know that he got a lighter workload than normal. They said that before the game in week one. So let's see if he gets a little bit more work here in week two, or is it more of the same that we saw in week one? He's a guy that doesn't need a ton of touches. He's a guy that if he again doesn't get a ton of touches this week, people are going to be freaking out and panicking about Gibbs, and he's going to be a perfect, because it is now already, but it's going to be even more of a buy low opportunity on Jahmyr Gibbs. So hopefully he gets some more. Hopefully he does get some more carries tomorrow. And if he doesn't, I'm not even mad because I'll be trying to scoop him up anywhere that I can because that'll be 2 weeks in a row. You thought it was bad after the first week, people going crazy. People are going to go crazy if again in week two he doesn't get a ton of work. So yeah, we're sitting Connor, man. Would you replace Jamal with any one of these running backs, Najee or Pierce? Jamal Williams? Yeah, I'd replace both of those guys for Jamal if you had Jamal in there. Steelers play the Browns as a pretty good defense, but then Pierce has got the Colts. I mean, I don't particularly love Pierce, but those are both better plays than Jamal. Play whoever you feel is going to be the safer option there. I think I'm going to go Najee, but even though the Browns defense is pretty good, I'm still going to go Najee there. Mike Scott, what up, man? Got to start one in the flex. Got Cooper, Judy, or Moss. Well, Cooper is injured. He's going to be a game time decision pretty much, and he doesn't play till Monday. So we're going to rule out Cooper from this. Judy, it is his first game back, but I'm not playing Zach Moss over Judy or Cooper. So we're going to roll with Judy here, Mike. We're going to roll with Judy. Yeah, I mean, both Najee and Pierce are starts over Jamal Williams. We're not starting Jamal Williams. I'm not starting Jamal Williams. Which one am I taking? No, I'm not taking any of those guys out for Jamal. Maybe did I read it wrong? Would I replace Jamal? Oh, okay. Would I replace Jamal with any of these? Maybe I read the question wrong. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're playing Najee and Pierce. You're not playing Jamal. Not playing Jamal there. CJ, what up, man? Appreciate you for tuning in. PPR flex spot. Should I start Montgomery, Gabe Davis, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, or Jamal Williams? I already have Olave starting at wide receiver, but I really want to start them both. I'm not interested really in Jamal Williams. Just not a good running back. He's just not a good runner of the football. You have to pray he gets in the end zone. So yeah, I like Monty over that. Let's see, PPR flex. Gabe Davis is going to be a no. Jamal Williams is going to be a no. Terry McLaurin is going to be a no going against that good defense. Christian Kirk, who disappeared last week, has actually a really good matchup against the Chiefs this week. So it's going to be between Montgomery and Christian Kirk for me. I'll eliminate all those other guys out of there. So it's going to be Monty or Kirk. I don't necessarily trust Kirk, but again, he does have a good matchup. Monty, I think, has an opportunity to have a pretty good day. So I do like Monty. I think you got to play Monty until we see something more from Kirk, because we saw Ridley just dominate the targets there. So I am a little worried for Christian Kirk. I might feel a little bit safer with Monty. So give me Monty in the flex, but Christian Kirk is a close second. And if you wanted to go with Kirk, I'm okay with that. But I think you can pretty much easily eliminate Jamal Williams, eliminate McLaurin, with not a great QB against a good defense and the best corner on Denver, and eliminate Gabe Davis because that's just kind of hit or miss. That's a big hit or miss. Let me know what you think, CJ. Okay, if it's raining, I'm not starting Kirk, and I think Montgomery. Yeah, that was another thing I should have brought up as well. We were actually looking at the actually got the weather up here. Um, But yeah, that KC Jacksonville scattered storms in the afternoon. They can't pinpoint when these storms are going to be coming in. So it's going to be tough to tell. So there's definitely a shot for some storms. So you're 100% right about that, and that's an awesome way to a good thing to look at to decide what to lean which way. So being said, that makes me lean even more towards Monty. Are already leaning that way, but Jamal Williams not a good runner of the he's not a good runner of the football. I mean, he's not. I mean, he's good at the goal line, like that's his thing. But what do you have last week? Like 18 carries for like less than 50 yards. I mean, 2.5 a carry. I'm not interested in Jamal Williams. He's gonna get obviously opportunities, but he just doesn't do much with them. And same thing last year with the Lions, really. I mean, he maybe had a few good games running the football with a big play, but for the most part, he wasn't that efficient at all. Zach, what's up, Zach? Start Zach Moss, Brees, or Miles Sanders. It's not going to be Zach Moss, I'll tell you that. Sanders got a bad matchup. Brees don't have a great matchup either, so it's going to be between either Brees Hall or Miles Sanders here. Um, who was Sanders? I know Sanders had a bad matchup. I forgot who he's. Yeah, he's playing the Saints. It might be Sanders just on pure opportunity, but it's tough to sit. It's tough to sit Brees because he doesn't need a ton of carries. Also, he gets 12 carries. Like that might be enough. That might be enough. Um, it's tough to not go Brees, but I actually might say Miles Sanders, which I don't even like. Mm. Oh, fuck it, give me Brees. I'm not gonna go against Brees, even if he gets limited touches. I mean, the way that he was with the football last week, I don't care if it's against the Cowboys. Give me Brees. Where's Walker and where's ETN on running back rankings rest of season? I think I've got ETN a little bit higher, but I mean, I think they're both like top. They're both pretty much top 12-ish guys. I mean, weekend RB1s, I would say. I want to say ETN has a chance to be a mid RB1. Walker, I don't know if he's got that chance with Charbonnet being there, but they're pretty much back end RB1s, I would say, in rankings. Luca, what up, Luca? Start three, half PPR. Terry, Hollywood, Brandon Cooks, Lazard, Robert Woods, Sean Tucker. Oh man, this is some bad options. But all right, let's see. Is Brandon Cooks even okay? He's questionable after did not practice. So let's rule that out. And he did sprain his MCL. So all right, let's rule out Brandon Cooks here. Alan Lazard, I don't think you can play Alan Lazard. Give me Robert Woods, who had a ton of targets last week. Give me Hollywood and Terry. I mean, Sean Tucker, even though I love Sean Tucker, I think as the season goes on, he's going to get more involved. He's not involved enough yet. So Let's go Robert Woods, Terry McLaurin, even though it's a bad matchup, and Hollywood. Those are going to be the best plays there, Luca. Danny Dimes, Dak, or Russell. Danny Dimes, Dak, or Russell. Danny Dimes, Dak, or Russell. Let's see. So Danny Dimes has got probably the best matchup. Dak's got a tough one. Russ has got a decently tough one, man. I hate to say Danny Dimes, but it might be Danny Dimes. I mean, you could go Russ here. Commanders have a good D line. And Saquon might be the one that goes off for the Giants, but man, that's a tough one. Give me Danny Dimes, but reluctantly saying that because I don't like it at all. I think I'm almost more comfortable playing Dak against a better Jets defense. But being that they are playing the Cardinals, I guess let's go with the matchup there. We'll go with Dimes. CJ said 90% chance of rain, 70% for the Bucks and the Bears. Yeah, Bucks and the Bears was another one. Another one that was up there as well. Yeah, Bucks and Bears. Spotty downpour, afternoon, Florida. So yeah. Zach, no problem, Zach. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in here. Everybody that came out tonight, everybody that's in the chat. Make sure you guys smash that like for me. Smash that subscribe if you're new. I will get to all the questions. Just throw them out there in the chat for me. Half PPR, D Hop sits. Should I start Burks over Shaheed? If D Hop does play, do I start Shaheed? Yeah, I think if D Hop does play, if D Hop does play, you got to start Shaheed. If D Hop doesn't play, then give me Traylon. Absolutely. I think you got it right there. I'm thinking the same thing there. Danny Dimes, I say. Yeah, I mean, I think you almost have to, with that matchup, even though, I hate to say it, but Danny Dimes or Derek Carr. That's actually a good one. I mean, against the Panthers defense, I don't know how much you dislike Danny Dimes. I don't know what Waller's deal is. I mean, it's rough on offense for them, but again, it's a really great matchup. But it's a good matchup for Derek Carr as well against the Panthers. So give me Derek Carr, who's got some good weapons. I mean, he's got an Olave around him. Give me Derek Carr. Give me Derek Carr. And I'm not a Derek Carr guy either, but I actually don't like either of those quarterbacks. But give me Derek Carr if I had to choose one for this week. Just a better chance he goes for 300 and a touchdown or two. Monty, Kenneth Walker, Algier, Zay Flowers, or Nico Collins have to start two. It's PPR. You got to start two. All right. So this is, I mean, literally could go with any of these guys. I mean, I like Monty and Kenny Walker. I mean, you can make the argument for Algier after what he did last week. He's going to be heavily involved in the run game. You can make the argument for Zay Flowers, who went crazy last week, pretty much. I mean, they're trying to get the ball in his hands, but they did not play Mark Andrews last week. So does that look any bit different this week? Nico Collins was third last week in the NFL in air yards. So if I had to choose two, I think I'm still like Monty and Monty and Kenny Walker here. If I want to choose a wide receiver, I'd go Zay Jones. So give me either Monty and Kenny Walker or Zay and Kenny. I mean, Lions defense. That's a tough one. I think I want to go with Monty and Walker though. Flowers is going to be tough to sit though. It's just hard to choose between Flowers and one of those running backs. But yeah, give me the two running backs. I think give me the two running backs. But yeah, before I hop out of here, guys, throw any last questions y'all have in the chat. I'll give y'all another minute or so to get any last questions out there. Again, appreciate all y'all for coming out. We will be on tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern, up until game time. About an hour and a half before game time, we'll be on tomorrow, answering questions, looking at any last second news that's coming out, looking at weather if anything changes there. So we'll be looking into those two games, which were the Chicago Tampa and the KC Jacksonville. We'll see if anything changes in the morning as far as what they're seeing as predictions for the day. But those two games look like the most game, the games that might be affected the most. If you have a kicker on either of those squads, you might want to stay away from those. Stay away from those games if you're, if you play in a league where you have kickers. I know some leagues now there's no kickers or defense; it's just offense. But if you got kickers, I wouldn't play KC, Jacksonville, Chicago, or Tampa kicker. I don't think here with this weather stuff that's going on. So, and just another thing to look at while you're setting your lineups tomorrow morning. Take a look at your kickers because we tend to just kind of forget, right? Kansas City kicker, I mean Buckner, right? I mean, you just you just have him, right? Just because he is on the because he's on the Chiefs or Butker is how you say it. My bad. But yeah, just because he's on the Chiefs, you're like, okay, great offense. They're gonna score a ton of points. Give me that kicker. Might not be the best option this week with the weather. So we'll keep an eye on that in the morning. I think I actually have Butker in the league, so I've got to take a look at that. Get his ass out of there. But yeah, if there's no other questions, I'm about to get up out of here. Oh, Diaz, let me get you Diaz real quick. 12 team, start three, half PPR. We've got Cooper, Sutton, Tony, Sanders, Moss, Javante. Need two RBs, a wide receiver, and a flex. So if we got to pick two RBs out of here, I'm picking Sanders and Javante. I'm not playing Zach Moss. I know you love you some Moss. I'm not playing him. Um, not comfortable yet. Let's see what happens afterwards. So the two RBs are going to be Javante and Sanders. And we got to pick a wide receiver and a flex. I mean, Cooper is going to be tough to start. You almost have to pick Sutton and Tony because Cooper plays Monday night. We don't know if he's even going to play. So you might not have a choice. You might have to play Sutton and Tony. And I don't love Sutton with Judy coming back this week. But I think that's the route that I'd go here. I really, really want to play Cooper, but he's got that Monday night game, which is tough, you know. Caddy said Kyron or Akers. I mean, neither this week. You don't want to start any of those guys this week. But if I had to choose one, it's going to be Kyron. It ain't going to be Akers. McGrady, what up, man? Dalvin Cook or Jamal Williams, PPR. Oh man. Bad matchup really against the Cowboys, but do we really have any faith in Jamal Williams? Do we have any faith in Jamal? I feel like Dalvin's going to get at least, 12-ish carries or so and a few targets. Jamal Williams will probably get like 18 rushes, but what do you have? What, less than 50 yards last week. So unless he bangs in a touchdown, like that's tough. But Dalvin, of course, is splitting with Brees. I feel like Dalvin is probably, I don't know, man. Mm, I guess give me Jamal. Give me Jamal there. If I gotta choose between one of those, man. It's Houston. He had three. He scored three touchdowns against them last year. Who are you talking about? Your boy Zach Moss. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's possible, but I just don't know if Zach Moss going to be the one getting those carries, or is it going to be Anthony Richardson running them in this year? Anthony Richardson wasn't on that team last year, so you know, I mean, Moss could absolutely be a good play, but I'm just not ready to do that yet. Not his first game back. You could say it's a great matchup against Houston. Time, I can't trust that. I can't trust it. Oh, Hammer finally gets on. I was about to just hop off. What up, Hammer?
Bro, this computer, I almost broke it, honestly. Like I almost broke it. Something I don't know, something's going on with this computer, but I've been trying to like restart it for the last 45 minutes. So I figured I'd just pop in, see what's going on. I'll definitely be on in the morning. So
Caddy
are
said,
we still
God,
are we
what?
still running at are we still running at 11:30?
Yeah, we're running 11:30, an hour and a half before. That's fine. Yeah, it would be on.
All
Caddy
right.
said, start one at flex, Burks, Pacheco, or Collins. If D Hop is out, I think it could be Burks, but otherwise, I'm going with Collins over Pacheco.
It just said that D Hop is expected to play
So then it's Collins for me.
for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I actually like Nico Collins a lot. He had a really good game, and it looks like he's gonna get a good share of the targets. So Robert Woods as well, but yeah, you can't really trust Pacheco. You can't really trust Burks, and Collins is the highest upside guy here, I think.
I mean, I was talking about it earlier before I hopped on. I saw he was third last week in air yards. Third,
There, there you go.
Nico, big spoon.
I've been a little bit of a busy weekend. Oh yeah, I got something. Ooh, okay, that's how we're doing it. All right, okay,
Get
I got
out of
something for
here
that.
with that Green Bay shit, bruh.
Green
Come
Bay number 10,
on.
baby.
Diaz says he could wait on Cooper with Calvin Austin or Jawan Johnson in the flex. I'm not playing Jawan. I don't know what about Jawan Johnson in the flex.
Uh,
Oh,
Cooper. I have Amari Cooper as well in a redraft, and it those Monday night games. We're gonna start running into those issues now. Those Monday night, just what the fuck do you do? You, you don't ever want to put a tight end in place of a wide receiver in the flex. I guess that's a rule that we kind of stand by. So there's got to be other options out there on your bench besides Jawan Johnson.
yeah, no, we had some other options. I mean, they weren't great. This was it here. Two running backs, a wide receiver, and a flex. Cooper, Sutton, Tony, Sanders, Moss, Javante. I think I went with Javante and Sanders and Sutton and Tony because we don't know about Cooper, and I don't love Sutton, but
Yeah, Cooper's too risky. Jerry Judy is playing, um, so that kind of lowers Sutton's upside. You would believe at least some. Um, so yeah, that's a tough one. The Amari Cooper thing is very. I have Amari Cooper, like I said as well, and
mhm.
I have guys on my bench. I have Jaden Reed, I have Mingo, I have Tank Dell, which I'm not doing that, but I have Gibby that I could move in the flex. So yeah, that's a tough one. Mingo's interesting. I mean, they are playing New Orleans, which that obviously the Monday night kind of thing works for you. If you want to wait on Cooper, then you limit your options.
Okay.
Or if you want to go with a healthier, more upside guy and just sit Cooper regardless, I would kind of go with that just because I don't really trust Mingo maybe as much as some of those other options that you mentioned, like a Sutton, like a Tony. I don't really trust Tony either, but you think he's got to have some better upside potential anyway than a Mingo or a Marshall at this point. So that's a really tough one. I'm in a similar boat with Cooper as well, and my options, like I said, Jaden Reed, Mingo, Gibby as well. Oh, just coming down, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson not expected to play.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Figured as much there. So I mean, Dubes becomes again a good play. I mean,
AJ Dillon,
AJ Dillon, I'm actually playing in a couple leagues.
are
Wish I could
you
have the. Go ahead.
are you a little more comfortable with the Jaden Reed now as well? He had a couple of nice plays, and he's getting punt return work. So if your league does, like I know in Dynasty we count punt return yards, Reed could be a decent option there. But Dubes is the guy, obviously, with Watson out.
Yeah, for sure. Wish I could have that banter between my buds, but unfortunately, we're not in the same division. So once every blue moon, they'll play each other. Yeah. We can talk shit just in general. I mean, doesn't have to necessarily be in the same division. That makes it more spicy because, you know,
Very
every
spicy. It's
year
been
it's
spicy. It's been spicy since we came out the womb. So this has been a lifelong situation, and it makes it fun. But like we a couple of our other guys in our group, Jets fan, Giants fan, and we still go at it regardless of whose team it is. So if your team plays like shit, you're gonna get ranked on. If your team is good, all right, suck a dick. We'll see you later. So it doesn't matter what goes on. Everybody's gonna get it, no matter what.
I'm trying to get them to come on. Like if we could do a show, like a little show
We were
once a
talking
week,
the
a little
home.
short show, and I think I came up with the name. It's just gonna be called Talk Yo Shit, and it's just our us home league dudes just talking our bullshit.
I had a beautiful name for it, and you said you
What was
liked
it?
it.
What was it?
Take
I
it
forgot.
home or bring it home.
Bring it home. Okay, that's not too bad either. What you guys like? Bring it home or talk your shit. It was just basically us home league. Few of us in the group chat that just talk a bunch of bullshit to each other.
That's what we do. Yes.
Mike Scott said, "Are we starting Dubes this week?" Yeah, pretty much. I mean, obviously, it depends on what your other options are, but yeah, I think you can feel pretty comfortable starting him
Now,
this week as a wide receiver 3, maybe flex.
yeah, the one thing I will say with Dubes, just be cautious though. Like you said, if you do have
Very
at
cool.
least a higher upside guy, maybe roll him out there because we like the 2 touchdowns, but let's not forget he didn't exactly light up the stat sheet. The 2 touchdowns make it look really nice, but he only had, let's see, he only had 5 targets. But the fact that he is the red zone guy and he only played 48% of the snaps. Obviously, he was coming off a little bit of an injury, going into that week, so he was a little bit limited. But they said he was pretty much a full go this week, which you got to feel better. It says ready to roll, so no injury designation whatsoever. So you got to imagine that his 48% snap share is going to go up. He'll probably be in the high 60s somewhere. And also too, Aaron Jones out, right? So that opens up more targets. So yeah,
True.
Dubes absolutely. No Watson and no Aaron Jones. Yeah, fire up Dubes.
Caddy said he'd call it domestic issues.
There's been some battles too, especially from this particular rivalry standpoint. There's been some fucking battles. So it just
Uh,
it just sucks that the Vikings haven't won shit. So there'll always be the stepchild in that division.
yeah. Oh man. Mike Scott gives a thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. Brian, what's up, Brian? 10 team rolling in with ETN. Unsure to either go with Pierce or Montgomery as RB2 and flex, or have Zay Jones in the flex and decide between the two for the RB2 slot. I think I'm definitely playing Monty over Pierce.
Think I tend to agree, although I wonder. I mean, I think they like Gibbs in that kind of DeAndre Swift role in Detroit, like where DeAndre Swift was in Detroit, where he was just getting like 15 touches a game and just being super explosive. And then they have Monty between the tackles. So I do like Monty as the RB2. Zay Jones is okay, but as you talked about before, Zay Jones is going to have his boomer bust weeks. One week it might be Christian Kirk, another week it might be Evan Ingram. So you gotta just be mindful that if you do decide to play Zay Jones, he could go out there and give you 3 grabs for 20 yards. He can have those kind of games. Now I do think they have enough passing volume on that team, and they are playing Kansas City with a healthy Kelce. So you got to imagine it's going to take 28 points to probably win that game. So there could be enough to go around, but Zay Jones is definitely risky on a week-to-week basis.
It is unfortunately it's supposed to rain.
In Kansas City. Oh, Jacksonville.
Game, yeah. Scattered storms, and then when you go down to it, the Bears and Tampa is another one to watch out for. So don't play any kickers probably in these games. Bears and Bucks, and then the Chiefs Jaguars. I'd probably stay away from all the kickers, but we could see some rain in these games that could affect a little bit. So does that change does that change our mind a little bit with Zay Jones? I mean, maybe, but I mean Pierce. I mean they're going against the Colts, so I mean if you want to go Pierce Montgomery, you can do that. Otherwise, it's Montgomery Zay.
Yeah, it really depends on who you feel more comfortable with. With it being PPR, Zay has a little bit more upside, but that's a tough call.
Yeah, I would say check back with us in the morning if anything, and let's see if the weather changes at all or if there's any new news on the weather or not, and then you can kind of make a final decision from there. Evan, what's up, Evan? 2 questions here. All right. If D Hop plays, do you go D Hop or Joshua Kelly at the flex? Half PPR and either Burrow or Deshaun Watson at QB.
I think I'm going Joshua Kelly here with no Austin Eckler. That's a fire up Joshua Kelly. He was really good with Austin Eckler. Now I know he'll be obviously more of a focal point, but they got plenty of weapons on the outside where he's going to get room to do his thing. And that Chargers offense, even though they lost the game, they still scored 34 points and they moved the ball very well. So Joshua Kelly in the flex over D Hop, and that's a pretty easy decision, especially with no Austin Eckler.
I mean, the tough part is D Hop got peppered with targets. That's the tough part about it. But I think Joshua Kelly, the better offense, probably a better opportunity to score a touchdown. Yeah, I think I'll roll with Kelly too. We've seen what Eckler's been able to do over the years. Not saying that Kelly is going to be, get all of the work. Maybe they bring in, Spiller or somebody else to kind of.
But he's going to get the majority of the work.
He's going to get the majority of the work, so you can feel comfortable with that. In a good offense, just feel comfortable with playing Kelly there. Would you have a backup QB in an 8-man? Probably not.
I don't think there's really a reason to, unless you have one of those running quarterbacks like a Justin Fields maybe, or a Lamar, somebody like that.
Kirk is on waivers. If I were to get him or replace him with one of the following, Mostert, Pacheco. I mean, in an 8-man, you're never going to start Pacheco. So you can.
Addison's worth a pickup. I've been talking about it. So, Addison is worth a pickup.
Yeah, I mean, this is an 8-man league. I mean,
I get it.
You drop Pacheco. I don't think you need Pacheco.
Oh, he has Addison. He was looking to pick up Kirk.
He's trying to pick up Kirk. Who should he drop there? I think Mostert or Pacheco would be one of either guy really probably to drop there because I think you're pretty stacked at RB. 12 teams start 10 PPR 0.75 tight end premium. Jamal Williams, Perrine, Hollywood, Evan Ingram start 2 of them. Start 2.
I think I'm going Perrine, at least 1. Off the rip. Evan Ingram is a tough play. Hollywood as well. Man, I don't like any of these options really. And then it's really tough playing those tight ends, man, at flex. If this is a flex question, which I imagine it is. Um, yeah, give me Piron and Hollywood. Fuck it. Hollywood wasn't terrible. He wasn't great, but
Fuck Hollywood. I'm going P. Ryan and Ingram with the tight end premium on it. Even though it
that's
might
fair.
rain,
That's fair.
even though it might
That's fair.
rain, Ingram could catch some short passes that is just going to kind of stack up and just outproduce Hollywood. At least I
That's
think. Oh, we
fair.
forgot the other part of that question. My bad, Evan. My bad. Burrow or Watson?
I'm taking Burrow. This is a get right game for Joe Burrow. He always plays well against the Ravens. The Ravens secondary is banged up. They got a bunch of guys out in that secondary. Joe Burrow is going to have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns tomorrow.
Yeah, no, the Bengals. It looks like it's only a 14% chance of rain, so that's not coming up here as a game that we should technically be worried about. The Chicago and Tampa game is one we can worry a little bit about with rain, and the Kansas City Jacksonville is going to be the other one that you can kind of worry a little bit about there. Rick is on waiver. Oh yeah, we went over that. My bad.
So
Went
you
over
taking Burrow?
Diaz's.
Are you taking Burrow, Watson?
Yeah. I'll take Burrow. I'll still take Burrow, even though I do like Watson.
Remember, Watson wasn't, even though they won that game pretty handily, Watson wasn't great.
Oh, wasn't that great weather either. I mean, they didn't have to do much, but yeah, he wasn't that great, and they still put up good fantasy points. So, Jay, what up, Jay? It's good, Stevie and Hammer.
Jay, what's happening, bro?
I just got the update. Aaron Jones and Watson. Yep, Aaron Jones and Watson
Mm-hmm.
both out. So absolutely, man. So that means we can fire up Dylan, fire up Dubes, Big Trev. What up, brother? Skull, baby. Who you taking this week? Rashard White or Joshua Kelly? This is not even close. Joshua
Mm-hmm.
Kelly by a mile. Let's go, Joshua.
Yeah, buddy. I picked
Kirk
him
has
up
the
on
same bye
waivers.
week as Allen, so no point in having Kirk.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think you
mean,
need him
yeah,
regardless in an 8-man.
no. YouTube, great. What up? Do I get Judy over Mostert or keep Mostert and start him? It's a 2 QB league on PPR. I don't know. I don't think the 2 QB league means anything for this particular question, unless I'm reading this wrong. But
Did that mean non PPR? If he meant non PPR or no PPR.
maybe I don't know. Maybe you go Judy or Mostert here.
Whew. Sheesh. I do like Mostert, but they are playing at New England, which always gives me cause to pause when you got to go at New England, especially a Miami team. Jerry Judy scares me. I think his talent is so good, but he scares the crap out of me. Yeah, give me Jerry Judy here.
Yeah, I'm taking Judy too. Let's go, Judy. CJ says he's got Aaron Jones in his half PPR. Backups are Javonte, Perrine, Kyron Williams. Who should I pick? It's not going to be Kyron against the 49er defense. So it's either going
No,
to be
it's not.
between Javonte and P. Ryan there.
I think I still like P Ryan because I think they're still working Javonte back. I think I think they're both going to get the work. They're both going to get good amount of work. I got to look up and see what Javonte. I know we probably talked about it.
I mean, I'm going to go with Javonte because even in what they said was so-called a limited workload,
13
he had
carries and six
almost double the
targets.
carries as P. Ryan, and he had 6 targets to the passing game. P. Ryan had 4, so they're both involved. But give me Javonte, give me the upside with Javonte because I'm excited that what he did last week, and that's a limited workload apparently. What's a full workload? If 13 carries is limited, right?
Yeah, I still like P Ryan, but I think you're really splitting hairs here, honestly, because I
Yeah,
think they're 50. I think they're 50-50 at this point.
sure. Jay said you think Dubes can have a repeat performance as Packers wide receiver one.
I don't see why not with Christian Watson out and Aaron Jones.
Could be.
You know, Jaden Reed could step up. Musgrave could be a sneaky good play at tight end. So take a look at all those. Take a look at those different options as well.
Yeah. No problem, YouTube. Great. Appreciate everybody in the chat, guys. Smash that like for us. Smash that subscribe if you're new. Throw any questions y'all have in the chat before we get up out of here. We'll get out of here in probably the next few minutes. CJ said, "Who wins, Atlanta or Packers with no Aaron Jones and Watson?" Who you got, Packer fan?
I'm still taking the Packers here. The Packers have a pretty good defense. They really got after Justin Fields, and Desmond Ritter is not as good as Justin Fields, and that's not saying much. So I'm going to go Packers 23, Atlanta 17.
I'm gonna go Packers as well. I'm gonna hope that Ritter shits the bed, so we got some QB controversy to talk about.
Bring in
Uh,
Heineke. You want Heineke in so bad because you have Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and you want it so bad.
well, I mean, not only just for that. I mean, obviously for that, but I'm realistic about the situation. I know you can't rely on those guys if you're trying to win a championship, especially in Dynasty. But just to just save redraft, to just save something. And I posted something on Instagram, and it was like Kyle Pitts wide open 2 times, beating
I
his
saw it.
defenders, and they
I
just,
saw it.
just don't want to throw it down there. So, yeah, but yeah, we'll see what happens because as the season goes on, Atlanta's not going to be in the position they were that first game every single week.
Hmm.
He's not going to be able to just dump it off to the RBs and be up and winning in the game. So I do think they'll have to throw the ball sooner or later, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anybody have any lock bets for this weekend? Hammer's the bet guy. I don't think I did any player props this weekend. Maybe I'll look up some tomorrow morning. We'll go over some player props and see if there's anything we like. But Hammer, what do you have as far as bets? Hammer's the better here.
So a couple of games I'm looking at. So I actually looked at the question in the chat. There was really two games I'm kind of looking at. Now the spreads definitely concern me. Vegas traveling to Buffalo for a 1 o'clock game. West Coast teams never travel well East Coast, and especially at Buffalo. Buffalo looking to get right. So I like Buffalo here on the money line. They're a heavy favorite. That it's a 7.5 point spread. Um, 7.5 scares me. If it was 6.5, I would like 6.5 a lot better. But I would take Buffalo Bills money line. And then I am looking at San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5 against the Rams. I think that defense goes nuts on Matthew Stafford. They had a really good game against Seattle, but I don't know. Maybe Seattle was a little fluky. But I'm taking San Francisco minus 7.5 at the Rams, which that could be a San Francisco home game because SoFi, SoFi's not a good home field advantage. So give me the 49ers minus 7.5 and give me the Buffalo Bills money line.
You heard him, Mike Scott. I have London and Pitts too. Yeah, man.
It'd be like that.
Vite Queen says she thinks Love is the real deal. She's probably overconfident in him. Oh my god! Don't make me take you off the screen again, bro. Bro, we're not doing this, y'all. We're not. Get the fuck. Oh god. Jordan Love better smack them dirty birds. Maybe we shall see.
Yeah, nah. I
Actually,
think
Kelce.
the thing I'm most impressed with, and this is carrying over from the preseason. We talked about this a bunch over the last 2 to really 3 weeks or so. Is that he just looks confident, right? He doesn't look nervous. He doesn't look rattled. He doesn't, he looks poised. So regardless of what the result looks like, of course, I love beating the shit out of the Bears, but regardless of what the result may have looked like, I was just more impressed by his overall command of the offense, how calm he looked. And to go on the road in your first real start as the guy and not have a single turnover, that speaks volumes to how I feel about him. So I think he's ready. I think the Packers make the playoffs, and I think they can push Detroit for that division. But I think the Packers are making the playoffs this year. They got to get their guys healthy though.
Yeah, Saints D is pretty good. They've been a great option for the first few weeks, I think, this season. They've got a few good matchups. DS says 12 team start 10, PPR 1.5, tight end premium. Quarter point for first downs. Sutton, Dubes, and Nico.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going Dubes here. I think I like Dubes. It's between Dubes and Nico, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Dubes just because I feel like the Packers offense moves a lot better at this juncture than the Texans offense. So I think there'll be similar opportunities, especially in the red zone. And Dubes is obviously proven to be, at least somewhat of the red zone guy at this point. So give me Dubes by a hair. But Nico is definitely worth consideration here.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the targets, but oh man. That is really close. I think I'm going to go with Dubes as well, but I regret it. Hammer, what you think the Eagles do with their backfield going forward?
Well, this is a tricky one because we saw what they did against, obviously, Minnesota, where Minnesota was not going to let, for the most part anyway, they were not going to let those wide receivers beat them. Devonta Smith did a couple of times, but for the most part, they dropped 8 into coverage and they had a 3-man box with a quarterback spy. Like that's what they ran the entire game. And I was actually impressed that the Eagles did make the adjustment and start running the ball with DeAndre Swift. And we actually talked about this in our home league group chat where DeAndre Swift cannot sustain 25 carries every single game. He cannot sustain that workload. And he couldn't sustain it 2 or 3 years ago when he was younger. Now all of a sudden he's going to be able to sustain that workload 3 years later. I do think they want to work Rashad Penny in. Remember, Kenneth Gainwell was hurt, but I think Swift will be at least commanding 15 touches a game, 15 to 18 touches a game. Rashad Penny did not look nearly as good as DeAndre Swift, not nearly as explosive. So I do think they're going to involve DeAndre Swift. And after that game, how could you not kind of put him on the flex radar? Because I think a lot of teams are going to try and say, hey, listen, we're not going to let those wide receivers beat us down the field. We're going to force Jalen Hurts to be patient with the ball, and let's see if they could stick to the run. So DeAndre Swift definitely deserves some RB2 flex appeal, but I still want to see another game or two to kind of see how that backfield shakes out. Obviously, with the Gainwell injury, that kind of opened the door for DeAndre Swift to take the bull by the horn. So it's still interesting. Jalen Hurts really didn't run it as much either last game. And the Vikings kind of had that game plan.
Because
So
fucking Hunter was on his ass.
it's going to be very interesting to see. But DeAndre Swift definitely earned the respect. At least some respect more
Well,
than what he had going in.
I think we all know the talent that he has. I don't think that was ever, that's
But I
never
meant
a question. And he can absolutely do, he can't get obviously 25 carries a game. That's not
that's
going to
what I'm
happen. But
saying.
it's going to be a 3-man backfield. It's going to be a split committee, and we're never going to be satisfied. So sell Swift right now if you can before
I would
tomorrow.
agree.
Wake up in the morning and send out fucking 30 trade offers and try and get rid of Swift, any way that you can. So. I don't trust it, but he's one of the guys that he doesn't need a ton of touches to make it work.
15 a game.
But is he going to continuously get those touches? Is he going to stay healthy? He's playing in a great offense, great offensive line, so everything is lined up from there. But he's not getting the pass catching work, right? And what is DeAndre Swift going to be, Hammer? If he's the same thing as Miles Sanders, right? If he's not
Mm-hmm.
getting the passing work, If he runs for 1,300 yards and double-digit touchdowns, what is that? That's still a mid RB2, like Sanders was last year. So that's like, I mean, we can't start thinking he's going to be this RB1. You know what I mean? Even if he
No,
has a
I
great season like Sanders does, he's not. He's not going to be top 12.
well Sanders was PPR 13 last year, so
13.
that's
Okay, so he's still RB2. I mean, still good, but we're hyping it. We can't hype him up like he's going to be this RB1.
I'm not saying he is, but I also wonder too if Philadelphia maybe gets too spicy with him and really kind of starts giving him 20 carries a game. I just wonder. So
He's on the 1 year, right? So they don't give a fuck. They could run his ass into the ground
no,
and
that's true,
say,
but
let's see what's
they're
the best.
playing they're playing for a Super Bowl. They're not playing for playoffs. So they want to make sure he's available during the playoffs. So I think they
True.
will be a little bit more cautious with him. But he's explosive, and he from from my estimation, he was the reason why they won that game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sirs, what up, man? Y'all think Ayuk will have another good game? Yeah, I mean, listen, he's an awesome wide receiver. He's the number one guy there. Now, to be fair, I think I read something today that he's never had 200-yard games in a row. But he's going to be a little bit volatile, right? There's a lot of guys there. You got CMC, you got Debo, you got Kittle. So there's going to be games where he doesn't do good. But for your particular question, I mean, this is never a question. You're going to play Ayuk over Pierce every single time.
Agreed. And if Ayuk is your flex play, then you probably are in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree. But I do think he can probably be the most consistent pass catcher out. I don't count. I should count CMC, but I'm saying out of out of the wide receivers and Kittle, I
For
think
sure.
Ayuk will have the most consistent production from the receiver standpoint. So yeah, I think I would play Ayuk over Debo Samuel at this point.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think I
sure.
think that's how you have to look at it. So Ayuk was really good, and listen, with Brock Purdy being steady as fuck, you got to feel confident with Ayuk, and he found him in the red zone on multiple occasions. So that's got to be really good. But like you said, I think Kittle, will work his way into the end zone as well. Obviously, you got McCaffrey, so there's going to be up and down weeks, but with a guy like him, you just got to ride it out.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, no problem, Chasers. Smash that like for us. Smash that subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you for tuning in. Guys, we'll give another minute or so to throw out any last questions. I'll give you guys a minute or so, and then we'll hop off here. We'll be on tomorrow morning. 11:30 Eastern, about an hour and a half before the game. So any new news that comes out, we'll be here for it.
I do have one question. How do you feel about the Vikings being 0-2?
I mean, we had a tough game last game, obviously against the Eagles, but we played well. There's a lot of good to look at. We're turning the ball over. If we don't turn the ball over, I mean, we're in a different position these first two games. But I was looking at the next few games. So we've got the Chargers next game, week 3, which is like a
Mm-hmm.
must win. So if we can beat the Chargers in week 3, that'll put us at 1-2. Going week 4, we've got the Panthers. So if we can get to 2-2. We've got the
You feel
Chiefs
better
after
about it?
that. Huh?
You feel better about it if you get to 2-2? Because
No,
then you
we
got
get.
the Chiefs.
I'm aiming for 3-3 here because we got the Chiefs in week 5, which obviously is going to be tough. And then week 6 we've got the Bears. So if we could go into week 7 3-3, I'll be pretty happy about that. That's like best case scenario right now.
I like it.
That's best case.
Worst case, they're 0-5 and trade Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I doubt it, but we shall see. All right, guys, let's head up out of here. Vite Queen, no problem. Appreciate you as always for tuning in. Oh, Hammer is about to get himself cut out here.
I can't get enough.
But yeah, we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all in the morning. Peace out.